Hi, I'm Dr. Kimberley Linert, and you're listening to Incredible Life Creator Podcast. My guest today is Kaytlin Stead. Kaytlin grew up in Northwest Iowa and graduated college from University of Northern Iowa with a BA in teaching. And from there, she actually pivoted to many different professions, which I'll let her talk to you about. But right now, she is the co-owner of Videoshortz, working with businesses to increase their customer base and revenue through creative and engaging video content. Welcome to the podcast, Kaytlin.
Thanks, Kimberly. It's great to be here.
Yeah, so why don't you start out by telling us a little bit about you, like where you grew up and how you got to where you are, because it looks like you've had quite a journey.
Yeah, I've had quite a journey. Thanks. Yeah, I grew up in a small town in Northwest Iowa, and I was the youngest of four and the daughter of a superintendent of schools in a very small town. So, growing up, I always admired my dad and thought I want to be a teacher when I grow up. And part of that was to make my dad proud of me. And the other part is I just thought that was pretty cool. But after 2 years of teaching, this is a true story. My last year of teaching, I was in the principal's office more than the kids were. I was a rebel. True story, true story. And I don't know why they're all called Sister Mary, but everybody's called Sister Mary. So at the end, we decided that, yeah, it wasn't going to renew my contract. But at the same time, I was working at the YMCA in Madison, Wisconsin, and I worked with Special Olympics, and I actually was the assistant Special Olympics director. And really, that's where I belonged. Incredible. And so I spent 4 years there. And then in 1984, it was too cold in Wisconsin. And so a friend and I packed up our stuff, moved to North Carolina. And then I spent the next 20 years working in the field of disabilities. And that was incredible. I learned so much from them. Dabbled in a little bit of numerology from there, which I absolutely love, became a career coach, and now I'm on the journey with Videoshortz, which is basically specializing in helping businesses increase your clients and your revenue with creative and engaging video content. And that's been amazing.
Wow, yes, that is a journey.
It's
So tell
yeah.
me, when you were working that 20 years with people with disabilities, when you said disabilities and trauma, tell me about that. What gave you joy with that? What you did it for a long time?
I did. Well, it was a Medicaid and program with folks that were living with a physical, mental, and emotional challenge. And, when I was in Special Olympics, I first went in thinking the teacher background, I'm going to be able to teach everybody about, life and this. What I learned from that is that was so wrong. I was being taught by these folks to be real, to have emotion, to be yourself in the world because they didn't know anything different. And that in itself was absolutely amazing. And I knew that that's my passion. And so I was the one who was learning, and I stayed with it for a long time just because I don't know, folks that are living, and especially folks living with Down syndrome, though that is my favorite population because they just are real. And that's what I wanted in my life. So that's why I stayed for so long until services started being cut more and more and more. And it was harder and harder. And, the politics and the bureaucracy of Medicaid, Medicare, after 20 years, was starting to wear on me. And so I knew that I didn't need to leave the people, but I needed to leave what I was doing in the job itself. So, yeah.
So you went from rebel
Yeah.
to, to being involved with a group of people who were real.
Yeah, and learning
Very,
how to be heart-centered.
yes.
That was a huge difference in my life was learning how to be heart-centered. And that made, just all the difference.
So how did that show up in your life? In other words, how did you?
Well, being the daughter of a superintendent in a very small town, everybody knows you. Everybody knows what you're doing. You have to be on all the time. And so I didn't really learn a lot of emotion because we were always, you're fine. You're in the public eye.
Mm-hmm.
And so when that population, when I talk about Heart Center, I learned from them that it was okay to have a temper tantrum.
Uh-huh.
It was okay to laugh uncontrollably. And that really changed me to learn all the different kinds of things. And that's what I mean by heart-centered. It changed my life in that way, to say, hey, I can be who I am. I don't have to be under that microscope anymore. And they taught me more about how to live my life and how I want to live my life. And that's just being my true, authentic self.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's amazing and wonderful.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when you're speaking about that, I'm thinking about, people who are like pastors' daughters. They're in that same situation, where they
Yep.
just, and a lot of them do become the rebels too.
Yeah. And it wasn't that I wasn't proud of my dad or, his position, but it did put a stigma on you, and it changes the way you grow up as a child and what you learn as a child. So, yeah, big difference.
That makes total sense. So, as you're evolving, what's the importance of just continuing to work on yourself?
So tell me a little bit more about what you mean.
So when you're embracing changes and things are moving and you're evolving, how is it that I know you've gone through different things. You went into the numerology, you've done everything, you went to, the Millionaire Mind Intensive and all the personal development you've done.
Yeah.
So, how has that impacted your life? How has that made changes for you?
When we were growing up in my generation anyway, my parents, it was, you stay in one job, you work hard, you serve your community, and you retire. And that was the philosophy that I grew up under. The difference in my generation and growing up was, it wasn't about just one job. It wasn't about just one place you had to live. And yes, serving your community was extremely important. But as I started my self-development, and because of working in the population I did, evolving in that and looking for, how can I become a better person? How can I serve other people? How can I be effective and promote others? And in that same way, then it helps me to grow. How can I stay open-minded? And basically, how can I be of service? And that's when I started to realize there's a lot of different things in life. There's a lot of different opportunities that we can grasp when they come our way. Mm-hmm. And that helped me to evolve. And especially, going to the self-development, I knew I needed that. I knew that there was more to me. I just didn't know how to get there. And so going through the self-development, with T. Harv Eker and all of that, I began to realize, wow, there's a lot to me yet to learn. And so all of that and the childhood of growing up helped me to become the person that I am today.
Yes, yes. And you are a graduate of the Warrior.
Yes,
camp.
And Wizard.
And Wizard.
Warrior and Wizard, yeah.
And Wizard. And what changes came out of that?
What was funny is I'm terribly afraid of heights, right? So in Warrior, we had to climb this tree and walk across this rope off the ground. And I was terrified, and yes, I did it. But when I got down, I was shaking so badly, and everybody was like, "Yay, Kaytlin, you did it." I couldn't even stand up.
Oh, wow.
When I went to Wizard and we did the same thing, I went up that tree, I went across that rope, and I realized at that point, oh my gosh, I did evolve from that. I actually took that step. And it was really a year after Warrior that I realized I've come a long way. But it was only because I repeated something again, and went, that was an aha moment. That was kind of like, oh my gosh, I wasn't shaking, I wasn't falling on the ground
Mhm.
and couldn't stand up, So
That's awesome. That's really awesome.
yeah, yes. So I'm still not crazy about heights, but I can look over bridges now and, without that heart pounding, fear. So,
Mhm.
yeah, so that was fun.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty amazing. So, talk a little bit about overcoming trauma. You said in your bio something about you found an alternative way to overcome some trauma in your life. You want to share?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when I was 19 years old, I was engaged to be married and pregnant, and I lost my child.
Mm.
And so that was devastating. Not only did I lose my child, I lost my fiance, who came to me and said, hey, the band is going on tour and I'm going, so I'll see you later. So there was two losses that happened. And for a long time, I thought that everything was my fault. And I took that with me through many years. Drugs and alcohol became a way of coping. And it wasn't until a professor of mine later on, when I had lost a lot of weight, was missing classes, looked at me and asked me if I was okay. That changed everything because nobody in my life had asked me if I was okay. And that was a turning point because I thought, gosh, if somebody is noticing me, how can that be somebody that I don't really even know? This is a professor, and of course, being the rebel that I was, it was like, yeah, I'm fine. Of course I'm fine, realizing I'm not. So I went to an alternative therapist who did some what's called healing theater. And she was an actress and was abused as a child and went through a lot of therapy herself and developed a program where you actually act out the things that happened in your life. That was huge. And that was a major shift for me. And I spent probably, I would say, a year and a half working with her and going through that trauma. And I think you have to get into the trauma that happens in your life to get out on the other side and be courageous enough to say, I need help, and go find it. That was a huge turning point in my life.
Mm.
Yep.
Wow. And I know is part of one of the things you do, you actually are like a career coach or a mentor for people. Um, how important is it to have a mentor?
Extremely important. My mind is going crazy because I'm thinking, without a mentor, without someone that's on your side to listen to help you form those ideas and those dreams that you have, then you kind of stay stuck. Other people I know have done it on their own. For me, having that mentor and someone to bounce ideas off, and then someone to actually be real and tell me that's not going to work. And me thinking, how dare you say that to me, But as working through that, realizing, you know what, I'm a student and I need to learn from this mentor, because if I want to have the things in my life that I want, then I need someone to help guide me.
Mhm. That makes total sense. And now, are you still working with people as a career coach, or are you totally involved in your new business?
I really left career coaching, not because I didn't love it, but I had an opportunity to work with a partner and develop a brand new business with Videoshortz. And I've always loved video. I see that it's gaining more and more attention. It's going to become huge, and it's already blowing up the internet. I've always liked graphics. And so I had an opportunity to get in on the ground level of developing this. And really, it's about helping businesses. It's about working with businesses and saying, hey, let's get some video done. Let's get your logo animated. Let's get your story out. Let's do this and get it up on your website. Get people to know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Get your name out there, be known. Because people, what I've realized in my life and in my career is when they know you, they like you, and they trust you, then they're more likely to want to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
In career coaching, I found that was true, but if folks didn't do the work, then why am I there?
Mm-hmm.
And that became more and more apparent to me as I really wanted to help folks to the next level. When they didn't do the work, it was frustrating. It was frustrating for them, and it was frustrating for me. And as time went on, I thought, if I have this opportunity, once again, here I go. I'm going to grab another opportunity and see and be more of service to folks that are in business through video content.
So, are you working mostly on the branding? Are you working on like direct response with the videos? How would you work with someone with that?
Well, first of all, let's say we started in January of this year. So we're still building. But what we have found is we're doing video of folks that are wanting to do their 1-minute intro of their business,
Mm-hmm.
or they're wanting to tell a story, or they're wanting to show a product or a service that they're doing. And especially the products are big. And so we have been able to put a intro on the front, a real nice bring up your product, and then an outro on the end, which could be a call to action. It could be your website. It could be whatever you want it to be. And that's what makes us unique is when we work with a client, we say, what is your business? What is it you want? And then we start from there and make a plan with them. And just recently, in fact, last week, we had a workshop where we're teaching people about lighting, about background, about audio, all the tools and gadgets that you can have where you can create better videos. So we're wanting folks to go out in their business to do that for themselves. And I always get the question, it's funny because they'll be like, well, why are you doing this? This is your business. And we're like, no. If we can help you when you're out and about and you have an idea and you want to videotape it, well, we're giving you 2 apps that you can use, that you can brand yourself and do it on your own. That's being of service.
Mm-hmm.
And we're here to help. If you want a video ad creation or social media ads, yeah, we're here to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But if we can help your business, that's what's being of service. And that's what we love to do.
Great.
So we can create really just about anything that you want with video.
Wow. So it sounds like you have done for you services and then done with you services.
Exactly. Yeah. And people ask us about our price too. And I'll say, I can't give you a price because it depends on what you want. If you want an animated logo to come up on your website, that's real different than having a 1-minute video and having a beginning and an ending. In fact, one client, we ended up doing 9 videos for her in her business where she could put it out, whenever she wanted to. Real different. So we'll work with the company or the person, and pricing is individualized. So
right.
Yeah.
And then these videos, they're being posted like on websites or on social media, or where are they using the video?
Yeah, exactly what you said. Social media, their videos. Maybe they want to do a presentation and they want a nice video to come up at the very beginning of a workshop they're doing or a presentation they're doing. And so they can use it that way as well. And you don't have to be in our area, because people have sent us, you know, videos that they've done, or they sent us pictures that we can put into a slideshow, and then we'll email it back and say, what do you think? And so then we can edit and work. So you don't have to be in our area to do this. We can do this anywhere and for anybody. So that's what makes it so much fun.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And so when you're talking to your clients, what do you tell them as far as why it's important to have these videos?
I'm not real big on statistics, but statistics are huge, because 90% of people will remember what they see, and 10% of people will remember what they read. So if you have something in your business, let's say your web page has a whole bunch of information, people are going to drift away. If you have animated video on there, or video of yourself strategically placed or at the very beginning of your website, they're going to stay with you. And people just love to watch video. And a lot of times they'll watch it without sound. So it's not like you have to be talking. You can have an animated character come up and introduce something, you know. So that's why it's so important. And it's going to be more and more and more. And you know, we had a lady come and say, I've got a 75-minute video that I want to put up. And we were like, whoa, wait a minute. No one's going to watch that's called a webinar, you know? And so we were talking to her about breaking it up into smaller segments, because 15 to 30 seconds, a minute, that's about as long as you want to go, because otherwise people are going to be gone. And so and that's what makes it so much fun too. And I'm on the front end. I like to make people laugh. I like to make people comfortable, because not a lot of people like to be on camera. And believe it or not, I don't. I hate my picture taken. But when you can help somebody relax and get into it, you watch the transformation. And that's a really neat thing. So video's huge, and it's just going to get more and more and more vital to have it in your business. So that's my passion.
Nice. So I want to change gears a little bit here. So talk about animals in your life. You know, so many people, pets are important, but I know you, whenever I see you on Facebook, you're sharing all your wonderful animals. And you're living on a farm, I think.
Yeah, we've got a little mini farm going on. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Animals, ever since I was a kid, I've always had a dog. And, you know, sometimes I think that I would rather be with animals than with humans. There's this balance that I need in my life. And I've had horses. I currently have 2 miniature donkeys. I've got a dog. I've got cats. And so when I come home, or when I leave, and one of the cats gets on my lap, or I'm walking Winnie in the woods, you know, my dog, and stuff, animals just are everything to me. And I actually started a pet sitting business, so I do that on the side, just because it's a great balance. And there's what animals have also taught me is unconditional love. And I didn't know that growing up. I didn't know what that meant. And so now I do. And it's just, they teach me, once again, just like folks with disabilities have taught me, they teach me about life. And if I'm open to listening, then then I get it. So animals are, extremely important. And I'm sure you have seen my Facebook posts.
Yes, I love your Facebook posts. So keep posting them, because they're just precious.
Well, a little Whisper, my mini donkey. Yeah, he's 3.5 right now, and he's all boy. And so, you know, he has his own Facebook page that I created when he was a baby.
He's got his
So
own page.
yeah, so I talk like him, when I do the posts and stuff. And the other day I posted something about him, and there were like 243 people that liked it or something. So yeah, so
I'm gonna
he's
go look that up.
he's my yeah, he's called Just Like Whisper. That's
Mhm.
his Facebook page. So yeah, it's pretty fun. Yeah.
That is fun. So, not everyone knows about numerology and how that can be really um, a way to discover yourself or help you guide your life. Why don't you explain what that is and how it's useful? And
Yeah. Pythagoras was the father of the number system. And what he believed was numbers carried energy. And so when you chose, and this is my belief, my personal belief, when you chose to come into this lifetime, you chose a certain day. You chose your family, you chose whatever. And so when those numbers of your birthday add up and are divided down into a single number, 1 through 9 carries an energy. And it's very interesting that there are certain traits and characteristics of each one of those numbers, 1 through 9. 1 being the beginning, 9 being an ending, and you repeat this over and over. 1 to 9, start off with 1 again and go to 9 when you're looking at your lifetime. But you came in on a certain number for your gifts and your talents and what it is that you're meant here to do in the world. And so when I started studying numerology and I found out what my path was, and I happen to be a 7th path, which is very spiritual, it clicked. It dawned on me as like, oh my gosh, yes. And funny enough, one of the 7 paths is about being spiritual and being a teacher. Hello. It all just then kind of came together. And I've done readings for other folks, and they've had some of those aha moments and gone, wow, or they remember an experience or something that they've had a dream about and said, I thought that was a crazy dream. And it's like, no, 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 that's part of your purpose for being here in this world. So this is a gift. You also have challenges. And so it's fun to talk to people about, here's your gifts, but here's your challenges. And neither one is good or bad.
Mhm.
It's just, here's some information that I can help you with in your life.
Yeah, and I know you did that with me a few years
I
ago.
did
It was
yours,
very,
yeah.
very helpful. Excuse me. Yes, it was very, very helpful.
Yeah, I remember doing yours. We had fun.
Hmm. And what would you say when you look at your life, the various things you've done and the places you've been, what gives you the most joy and happiness? What things actually gave you the most satisfaction?
Oh, I think the thing is to always remember to stay in gratitude.
Mm.
Gratitude for everything, gratitude that the sun came up or gratitude that the clouds are there. It doesn't have to be something huge. It can be something very small. Um, you know, Gratitude that my car worked today so I could go out and have fun. Develop that positive self-talk. That's, I never used to do that. It was real easy for me early on in my life to say, well, that was stupid, Kaytlin, or, something that was negative, or, well, you didn't do that very well, did you? Or you didn't get a good grade in that. Now you got to go tell your dad, So that when I started switching to the positive self-talk, and I'll do this, and I do this to this day, if I back out of my driveway and I don't hit anything, I'm just like, way to go, Kaytlin. Always just something so small, doesn't have to be huge. And then I realized earlier on too, that gives me joy is, you really need to let go of negative people that are around you. As hard as it may be, if you let that in, it's not a good place for you to go. And on that same note, it's not about judging that person. It's not about making them right or wrong. It's about looking at you and saying, what do I want in my life? And if that negativity is there and it's not resonating with you, then you need to let it go. Not an easy thing to do. Takes a while to do that. And surround yourself with people who support you, people who are going to be real with you, that are going to tell you, hey, I don't agree with that, so that you get an opportunity to go, wow, let me be open about this, but I can still be your friend. I may disagree with you, but I can still be your friend. But thank you for telling me the truth. So those are the things I've really worked on, and every day, just know that you have done your best. And that gives me joy to be able, at the end of the day, yeah, maybe it didn't go the way I wanted it to go. Maybe it did. But to be able to say, you know what, today I did the best that I could. And that's all I need to know today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's perfect.
Thanks.
So, yes.
Long journey to get here, but,
Yes.
it's worth it.
And now you're doing the video shorts. So why don't you tell people more about how they can get a hold of you if they wanted to use your service with the videos, or your pet sitting, or
Yeah. Neat. Yeah, well, with Videoshortz, it's great because it's www.videoshortz.com, and it's SHORTZ. So we did something a little different on the end, which is fun. We're on Facebook and we're on LinkedIn, so you can reach out to us that way. Also, if you want to get a hold of me personally, an email, you can email me at Kaytlin, and it's KAYTLIN @videoshortz.com. And believe it or not, Kaytlin is my personal spelling. My original name is not Kaytlin, and I never resonated with it. So, but you can get a hold of me there. And so, reach out on Facebook, reach out on email, reach out on Videoshortz. And it's one thing to tell you about video, it's another thing to see it. And that's what I tell people is, go to the website. Yeah, we still got some tweaks to do, but go to the website so you can see some of the different things that we do.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast today, and for all the contribution you've done, to help others, because that your whole life is about helping others. And I so appreciate that and love that. So thank you so much.
Oh, Kimberly, thank you. And you, by the way, look amazing. And I'm so excited you're doing this in your life. This is awesome. And it's just great to connect with you again, girl.
Yes, it really is. All right. Well, we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks. You have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.